Hi, this is Mark here, and welcome back to Tax Chronicles. This is our series where we take U.S. tax court cases and break them down so the average Joe can understand these cases and understand why the tax court determined the way that they did. This week, we have a really interesting case. This opinion was dealing with a petitioner who was suffering from a mental illness. Mental health is a very serious issue, and it's become more and more of an issue in our country in these days. So I think this case is very relevant. The name of the case is Quevy versus Commissioner, and it was issued by the tax court this week, so it's fresh off the press. Now, in this case, the petitioner here suffered from a mental condition that was medically diagnosed. The name of the condition that she suffered from was called agoraphobia. Now, this was very interesting. I looked up agoraphobia. The Mayo Clinic described it as the fear of avoiding places or situations that might cause panic and feelings of being trapped, helpless, or embarrassed. Another source described it as fear of leaving environments that one considers to be safe. So this was a very unique condition that this person has, and it ended up affecting her employment. So here in this case, this person, she had a high role in a company that was a nationally known company. Her role was she was a lead design engineer in her division, so a pretty high role. But she had intense anxiety. She started to also suffer from migraines, and then she ends up getting this diagnosis. So what ends up happening after she gets the diagnosis of having what I believe is pronounced as agoraphobia, she ended up starting to work from home. Now, what ended up being a huge catalyst to her health condition worsening is that she while on the job was assaulted. Someone assaulted her at work, which made her mental condition worse. She had even worse anxiety, and she started to work from home. And eventually, her job asked her to return back to work and stop working from home. Now, what was interesting here was that her mental condition continued to worsen. She refused to come back to the workplace, and her job asked her to, if she's not going to come into work, then to just please go on unpaid medical leave. She complied with this. She went on unpaid medical leave. But I mean, this was really a modern day Job. I mean, this woman was almost like, as one law case would describe it, like the eggshell case, where someone is just as fragile as an eggshell. Her mental condition ended up getting worse. She became she started to struggle with alcohol abuse. She became an alcoholic, and believe it or not, her anxiety and her stress it progressed to her actually being diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer. Now, for those of you who have been watching this series, I immediately made a connection to a case we reviewed not too many videos ago, the Shapiro case. Remember that petitioner? It just felt like everything that could go wrong in his life was going wrong. He was going through a divorce. His medical practice was failing. He was getting hit with malpractice lawsuits. He owed the IRS money. You kind of have this situation with this woman. I mean, she already gets diagnosed with this mental health condition. She gets assaulted at work. Now she is diagnosed with breast cancer. She's an alcoholic now. Can life get any worse? Yes, it can. She then gets hit by a car. I mean, this woman, she's really going through it. Now, court supposed to do with a woman like this when, you know, she owes taxes, she is taking deductions related to her medical expenses? What is the court to do? What are they to do? Check out the next video. We're going to look a little bit closer at the deductions she took, the code section of the Internal Revenue Code that she cited to take the deduction, and how the court assessed that deduction.